is Nigeria.
Operation Udoka is army-led, and it covers all the 5 southeast states. In the southwest, the Joint Task Force is tagged Operation Awase, designed to safeguard the critical oil and gas infrastructure and combat other challenges. Additional to this, large task forces deployed across the 6 geopolitical zones. The army, your army and the People's Army, also has forward operational bases designed to ensure that the troops are adequately deployed and forwardly positioned to respond to emergencies. We do not want to wait for your alarm before calling out troops from the barracks. Currently, we maintain about 40 of these forward operational bases all across the country. Additional to this, we conduct intelligence-based operation to act as stopgap and to ensure that there's no disruption in the troops currently deployed and forwardly poised to combat threats. And one of such operations is the Operation Akoro Damisa that is currently ongoing in the Mangu local government area of Plateau State. Operation Mugongu is currently taking place in Niger State, and we have such similar operations ongoing across the country.
This is Morning Crossfire.
All right, that's one part of the briefing. Now, I'm just going to accelerate forward now. Just go on to what the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Betokun, also have to say about the security situation and what they're doing about it.
We are committed to a police force that will respond adequately and appropriately to the dynamics of crimes and criminalities in our communities. We want a police force that will be so well positioned to deliver effective constitutional mandates. We want a police force that the members will be proud that they are police officers, and the Nigerian youths and Nigerian people will be proud of. Unfortunately, we met on ground a police force that has been battered, a police force that has suffered serious neglect over the past few years. The police also finds itself operating in a very difficult environment, partly as a result, as a direct consequences of this neglect. The manpower in the police today is grossly inadequate. Even the criminals know that. The United Nations ratio of 1 to 400 is not attainable in Nigeria as of today, because the ratio in Nigeria is 1 to 1,000.
This is Morning Crossfire.
Well, that clears things up with regards to, well, some of the reasons why the security challenge persists, even though some of the senators also describe a situation where they say, especially Senator Baribe, where he talked about how the Nigerian federal capital is under siege. We cannot sleep with our eyes closed. He talked about that as part of that interaction with the service chiefs as we would have it. All right, we're still dealing with issues around Kano now. Well, the NNPP is a party that started off much of its campaign and its orientation from Kano State. And yes, they're still really serious about merger plans, and they say it's in the interest of Nigeria and Nigerians.
This is Morning Crossfire.
Give apology. One came out of the 18 members. Some are outside for official assignment and zoology. So as a caucus assembly, we are concerned with the development as it relates governorship election. We will continue to have confidence in Nigeria judiciary. We all in the tribunal saw what happened in the appeal. Confusion that has followed as a result of the CTC. So as a caucus, we will continue to discuss ourselves to see how to continue to encourage, to continue to support the judiciary, always upheld what is right, always serve justice on the side of truth and on substantial, as lawyers, substantial justice. Well, it is important that you take note of this. Fighting anyone. From the history of when election, the presidential election, we were into talks for it collapsed. But I'm telling you this, an MPP as of today, we for collaboration and even merger all political parties, both the PDP and any other party that is ready to work.
This is Morning Crossfire.
That's still on course. And with regards to former CBN governor, 300 million naira bill grant. Here's a summary or description of what that came from the legal representatives that were present in that very hearing. Take a
This is Morning Crossfire.
Okay, so just tell us more about the bill application, the conditions, and how soon we expect to meet these bill conditions, and why he's not running for the ruling.
Well, you recall that we made an application to the prosecution. They gave their reasons. The court today considered the reasons and also the prosecution, and came to the conclusion reason to deny bail to because the issues before the court are not capital offences, and the defendant has conducted. He was granted bail by Justice Adeni. He came to court. He had the opportunity of leaving to because he has decided to face this and let the world know the truth. As he didn't go nowhere, and the court said that fact that he was granted bail, he left this country. He did not leave and came to court heavily in the mind of the court, and the court considered in granting him bail. The court also the charges before the court, and for all reasons we decided to accept this question. Like how does what happen? As to his presence, well, there was an order of court for him to remand pending proceedings of three. But it's not much of a deal. While it's not commencing today, so just ruling dispense with his presence today. At the next adjourned date, when to our he will be here.
All right, so can you hear me?
This is Morning Crossfire.
All right, then. Let's get back to the line before the next bigger point. But I mean, that with regards to quite a number of issues across the country, and they building up a perspective to this reality we're facing, granted bail. But one big subject that's going away anytime soon, waiting for more understanding can build up around us, the issues in Kano. Many of you are around. I know that issues anyway. Here's one trick says, on Tinubu's leadership capacity around the economy of Nigeria, we started on day one with a courageous pronouncement on subsidy. I make bold to say, those who are yet the Tinubunomics are better, the turnaround or the overhaul of institutions, whether started with the setback, NDIC, coming next along with the $2 parity via the multiple tours for investors and so we clearly see the direction of the economic tours, the cost development Eldorado, the president will be taking us through in days. And by the way, the Vice Kashim Shettima has also spoken to that. But not making empty promises. We are really keen on making sure everybody understands the one, and we will get done for the country. Somebody continue to bless you. My name is Ojon from Area 11, Abuja. Even like I wrote yesterday, I again write that it's unfortunate that judiciary learned from what happened to Justice Ipen and Nzeribe of Jinju Saga. The present Nigerian justices who are quitting judgment to have robbed their right to choose their just will face collapse if they do not adjust to it. All right, well, that's some view there. Good morning from indeed. Nigerians voted for what high rate of information, how children after school, high cost of living, purchasing a at 60 million naira for themselves, and the purchase of presidential yacht at 1 billion naira. Men are children to school due to poverty. This reform to end our president implicate the record. Female expresses its view as such. Hello, once again from DNR for family proposed speech. Let's state from zero to me is an insult to the likes of late London. Latif Jackson state the blue light rail, if not because of military, still a house estate, and many of other visions, if it Lagos, it can go to any hospital in Bune, always going for medical terrorism. The only thing in Bune intention to tax legal with nothing to show. Let there be the center of port and other parts of the country. Let it in. Our biggest problem in Nigeria, but the early Nigerians know this. Many Nigerians, the earlier Nigerians know this, the back come. Ishaku did one. I'll take your call and many of your messages. Stay with me. This is Morning Crossfire happening right now on Nigeria Info.
It's Nigeria Info.
Nothing breaks the news like this. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire, 5 a.m. on Nigeria 95.1. And I'm Femi D. I'm in a big conversation around national politics every day. The way that is trustworthy, and yes, covers the biggest politics stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria. Let's go. That's the way to go, even this morning.
Audio Jungle.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info. Is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info. This Nigeria Info. This is 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 Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. This is 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 Nigeria Info.
Provides a new scope to the details of politics.
Actually participated in the governorship election.
Roll out vaccination in 4 phases.
Let's stay away from the sides of the story and go deeper together. Let's talk weekdays at 8 a.m.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info, Abuja. Let's talk.
The Current Affairs Show.
From your number one talk news and sports station. This is the Morning Crossfire
With Femi D Live.
Welcome back to the show. This morning is 8:39 a.m. Nigerian time. Yes, let's keep up with you. If you're calling in, now will be a good time. 0700 951 0000. And yes, 08095974869 will also do fine. And if you're on WhatsApp, it's 080-999-30137. Let's take your calls on any of those platforms as you share your views with us. Looks like may have issues with the main line, but WhatsApp should do fine, okay? Good morning to you. Good morning.
Good morning once again, what class was Femi? Good morning once again, what class was Femi the MLA?
Yes, sir. Welcome.
I remember myself for Bakrale, calling from PW Kuba at the moment. Femi D, you have lived in Kano. And
Yes,
you
sir.
know how sensitive Kano is when it comes to issue that has to do with
politics, religion, and
honestly,
sports.
and sport, how fanatical they are about these three things. So how could a clerk or whosoever make this dangerous and reckless error at this time. That guy, whosoever is responsible, must be sanctioned. Because Kano, you know Kano too well. Let me not go into details. Honestly, something must be done. Even though for the gubernatorial electoral distinct court cases, Supreme Court, we should be bothered with the Supreme Court. You understand? For me, that is my personal opinion.
Okay.
I bother more about the pronouncement of the Supreme Court. But the way hands are appointed at judiciary, they should be very careful in doing their job so that they should not give people impression of what they are thinking about them. God bless Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless Okoyao and Yao. God bless Nigeria Info FM.
Amen. Thank you for your view. Interesting view. You surely did extend into that. Okay, let's take more calls. If you're there, I'm here. Good morning from the world and work. Happy birthday to your brother. Please tell me, President, please tell me that the president, please tell me, President, Nigeria economy is very bad. It's very bad. Please, they should help us out, please. Richard from Mandela writes that in. Good morning from D. Our leaders are not sincere. Let the president... our leaders are not sincere. This same president, Tinubu, was on the street in 2011 protesting against Jonathan that fuel subsidy was a scam. My question is, which subsidy did he remove? He did well in Lagos, yet the Nigeria's economy is not in the worst state. Is now in the worst state in his arms as the president. Finally, can't be a judge in his own case to ask for his name to be included in the Guinness Books now. Let Nigerians adjudge him so well. That's according to Wilson Emmanuel writing his view in. Okay, more calls, more messages this very morning. Good morning, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Femi.
Yes, welcome.
My name is Isaac. I'm speaking to you from Asokoro.
All right, Isaac, good to have you on.
Yep. So I just want to ask something. As this case is not the case of the appeal court, who is going to appeal? Is it the incumbent, the governor, or the APC? Who is going to appeal?
That's the most fascinating question I've asked all morning myself. It is confusing. And exactly what are they appealing? That's another version. That's another part of it.
That is the point. Because I heard somebody saying that the case will be appealed in the court, in the Supreme Court. Who is going to appeal? The certified document, which is written by these same judges, and the crack did not make a mistake by affirming Abba Yusuf as the governor of Kano State. So me, I believe that there was a I don't know. I'm not going to speak for them, but I think there was something wrong. That if human being does not know, God knows. But my point is that I wanted to know legally who is going to appeal this case. That is what I wanted to know. Yeah. Actually, Tinubu said he has a Guinness Book of Records. I want to say I lived in Lagos in the 80s. Lagos was already Lagos before Tinubu became the governor of Lagos State. All the bridges, the CMS, the bar beach, everything, the Lupedu Industrial Estate, everything was already there before Tinubu became the governor of Lagos State. So it's not going to use that as preside to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
No, maybe you didn't think people like you would be around to recall, but there were jack on their buildings, there were jack on their buildings at the time. Before it did come into the picture. Maybe essentially should have specialized in talking about the economic reforms he had going on in Lagos State, because he was quite very, very keen on economic reforms in Lagos State. But in terms of infrastructure, a good number of the infrastructure in Lagos already had their own shape and sizes. From the 80s down into 90s, there was Jakonde building. There's the Festac Town as well. You can't shy away from the likes of places like Festac Town that had their own. The other places that were not so developed at the time would have to be some parts of Lekki, some parts of Ikorodu. Almost the outskirts of Lagos didn't have their shape, before then. But all those like Ketu, Ojota, and Tony Village, Ikeja, where else? Infrastructure-wise, they looked the part already. Whether one chooses to accept or not, they already looked the part. Good morning to you. Welcome to the show. Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Femi D.
Yes, good morning. How are you today?
How is work?
Good. And you, sir?
I'm very well.
Good. What's your
My name is DJ, and I'm calling from Kagini.
Okay, from Kagini.
I want to talk on the Kano appeal, the CTC results. It's conflicting from the way everything is. Again, the registrar came out to tell everybody that they made a mistake from the CTC. So the court judgment that was stated the other day still remains valid. So as at now, the NNPP, they've gone to Supreme Court. They are the ones to appeal. So they've gone to Supreme Court. If they don't appeal, they are going to vacate that governorship seat when the time.
So you do know. Okay, so let me put up a scenario. Are you with me? Oh, there. I do hope it's with me. What makes it even more interesting is what the Supreme Court will process. Okay, are you there with me? Oh, look, it is not connecting yet. But if you do recall, after every judgment is pronounced, okay, what you wait for next as your legal representatives wait for next is the copies of the judgment, no matter how long it is, whether it's a book length, because that is what you would study and write and document your points of appeal on, and refer to paragraphs and refer to pages of the judgment copy to say this is what is this is what is that. And based on that is what you approach the next line of court on to say, oh, by the way, page 67 did not favor me, and that's why I'm writing kaza, left, right, and center to say I don't like what was written about me here, and based on this, they didn't do a good job, or they didn't do a substantiative job to present or represent my views on this. So it's based on the documents that's finally released. That's what you go to the next court with. But if you're stopping at that court level, the judgment is fine. It was what was said to you and all the legal representatives that were there, or anybody that needed to hear the judgment, that was certified. But if you're going to the next stage, you need a document that you're appealing against. You cannot verbative appeal. I don't know how to explain this, but you cannot, there's no way to document what the judge said verbatim. You cannot take an audio recording to the Supreme Court. It's not been done, at least not in Nigerian Supreme Court, unless I know courts around the world sometimes use video to say this was what the detail of the judgment was, and say, okay, this is the video of what this was passed. But in Nigeria, we depend on the print copy, black and white, spelled out, commas, full stops, some part capitalized, some part not in capital, with everybody who's supposed to know have it. And more importantly, there's a stamp that says this is the certified true copy of this document. So that's where the drama is. What do you appeal? Who is appealing? And on what? And on one page, two controversies. That makes you wonder. And that's the final page, by the way. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Femi D.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Mr. Chidi. I'm calling from Nyanyas.
All right, Mr. Chidi. Good to have you on.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I want to comment on this Kano State governorship appeal. Just as you have tried to analyze, it's very clear that the certified true copy of the judgment is what anybody will take to the Supreme Court for appeal. It is like you rightly analyze. You have to look at the what the judges have stated in their judgment, and that is what you are going to base your appeal on. What we have in our hand today, it goes to show how rotten the judiciary is. We have been saying this over the years, and when we say it, it looks as if people are just crying foul. They call them wailers. They say this and that, but it is evident that the judiciary, we can't hide it. It is there. They themselves are the ones shooting themselves in the leg. So as it is today, if you ask me, the two, both the NNPP and the APC should proceed to the Supreme Court. Both of them should appeal based on the certified true copy of the judgment of the appeal court. The NNPP have a case to appeal in the Supreme Court. Then APC to have a case because you can see at some point they awarded the cost against the APC. They resolve all the issues against the APC, and at the same time they dismiss the case. How can you reconcile that?
It's tough.
It's unimaginable. It's unimaginable.
I get your point, my dear friend. I get your point. Okay, thanks for doing it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Femi.
Thank you. Interesting view you also do share this very morning. Okay, good morning, Femi. The kind of error in appeal court CTC is more intentional than just a normal error. A clerical error could happen in misspelling or disjointed lines, but a full paragraph with a complete line of thoughts, this should be investigated. But I doubt if anything would come out of it is a manifestation of issues with the judiciary. Somebody argued, that maybe they mixed up who was the appellant and defendant. One of the most interesting things about court documents is that at the start of the judgment, at the start of that document, the appellants will be identified to say this group of people, this XYZ party is first defendant or appellant, in such a case. The name or whatever the time, whatever you're saying is the appellant or the defendant what is not bracket now, in what you call colon, it's often written. It's, what's the name of this? The bracket with the square looking like bracket, yeah? Whosoever it is always written there, so you know who you're referring to. So it's a tough one. I really do hope the NJC looks into this system of slight confusion that we're experiencing in every form of it that we are, because I am so sure that it's more confusing than ever. Good morning to you.
Femi, good morning this morning.
Yes, good morning.
Femi, my name is Emmanuel Ochari for the Freedom Wheeler, and I'm waiting from the city of Talakas in Maraba here.
All right, welcome.
Femi, please, I want to ask a question. Look at now, the G20 conference summit, or meeting that had, or summit. Thank you. The G20 summit that the president has been attending over the year, and we've not been seeing any meaningful results. Does it have? Is there any rule there that or law there that if you don't attend, you pay something the way we do in a family meeting, like fine or something?
I'm not aware of such laws. I'm not aware.
Okay, Femi, I'm asking this question because he whose house is on fire does not chase the rat that run out of the house. You can imagine the kind of problem we are facing in the country today. Economic is down, insecurity all over. Children are sleeping, one eyes open, and the topic of discussion in the G20 summit is usually on climate change, sustainable development, and what have you. It has nothing to do in particular with Nigeria.
So
why must our president be there when the house is on fire?
So let me explain a little bit about why some of those summits. Usually what happens is there's an invitation to the government of any country. You choose to accept such invitation, right, to be in attendance. And usually if you're from a continent where you have kind of prominence, like Africa, the two most prominent countries in Africa would have to be South Africa and Nigeria. And Nigeria, because of its economic base, they often asked, or you solicit, or you canvass, or you just want to put yourself in the spotlight, or be in a panel where you discuss. Now, here's the trick, and I'm answering not just you, but a lot of people who talk about when you attend summits that look like it has no bearing on your direct economy. So, for example, when it comes to climate, it's not just people think climate is weather. It has to do with things like food security. It has to do with things like unemployment. And when you're soliciting for international funds from some of these people to say, come and invest in our country. For example, in Germany, one of the things that you are able to get from them, which is power supply, right? We have issues with electricity, right? Do you remember the Siemens deal? The Siemens deal has a lot to do with how do we generate electricity in the country without providing carbon emissions. Carbon emissions is closely associated with climate issues, right? So you're asking the German government, come and set up a panel and a system which we can generate electricity for the country in your own way. Under any climate budgets that you have, just come and invest. We are worthy of investment. So that is the angle these things come from.
Femi, thank you so much for this short explanation. But this is my concern. There are certain things that, if being put in place here naturally, without you canvassing for these foreign investors, they will look for you. Make sure security. You have security in the land. If you have security here, the foreign investor will look for you. You don't need to be going to all these things before. You understand what I'm trying to say?
I do hear your point. Thank you.
From my own angle.
I've got to go. Thank you. You're just in time for me to round off for the show today. I'm grateful to you. Thank you all for all you've done. Itodo will be on tomorrow on Morning Crossfire. Okay? And that's it for me for this week. God bless you. Thank you for all you do. I'm Femi D. Amele. God bless you. Enjoy the rest of your day. LFC will come up next on What's Happening in Abuja. I think it's today they used to shout, but I'm just saying.
Back to back and back of the biggest talk on your number one station for talk, Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria